Hi guys, Blake and Matt from footballboys.co.uk, and today we're going to review the Magista Opus 2. So this is the little brother to the Magista Opus 2. These two boots have recently been launched by Nike Football. How does it compare to the previous Opus boot, and how does it compare to the Magista Opus 2? We'll find out in this video. So what are the features on the Magista Opus 2? The upper is Kangalite, virtually the same from the Opus 1. Softness and stiffness is maybe a bit stiffer than the first generation, and the dotted application on the medial side of the boot and on the lateral side of the boot is the main feature of the Magista Opus. Virtually the same as we see on the Opus 2, but the dotted application is not covered. You can see the dots there on the lateral side of the boot. They're actually raised and thicker where you touch the ball the most on the lateral side of the boot and on the instep where you do your passing. So in terms of performance, yes, it will help with a bit of friction, adding a bit of friction on top of the ball, but it won't really enhance performance that much.
Okay, so let's get straight into talking about the fit, sizing and breaking of the Opus 2. Now in terms of the fit, they're going to be pretty universal, so if you do have a wide foot type or a narrow foot type, then the Magista Opus 2 is going to boot that you can comfortably wear. Naturally, a little bit wider than what you'll find on maybe on the Mercurial boots, so these are going to be perfect for any type of foot. Sizing, definitely go true to size. I'm a UK 10.5, these are UK 10.5, and they are perfect for me. So if you are wondering what size to get on the Opus 2, if you're interested, go true to size. If you want that very snug fit, you can go half a size down, but as I said, I'd personally go for true to size. Now in terms of braking, what the Opus 2 differs compared to on the Opus 2 is that it's going to require a little bit more braking because the upper is a little bit thicker and stiffer compared to that Flyknit and Nike skin. It's a Kangalite and it is slightly thicker, especially straight out of the box. We can just bring it in here and it does feel slightly thick and stiff in hand, and you can also feel that on feet. So just give yourselves a couple of sessions before actually taking these out onto your match days.
The tongue on the Magista Opus 2 is very similar to what we see on the Tempo Legend 6. Pretty much exactly the same actually. It's sort of a no tongue design on the bottom half and the sort of standard tongue design on the upper half. Really designed to lock down your foot into the shoe a bit more than what the Opus 1 did. And yeah, the tongue itself has a bit of pore and inserts just to help that protection on top of your foot. And the inner linings are virtually the same as what we saw on the Opus 1. It's all synthetic, very comfortable inside these boots. And of course it has that low cut design around the ankle here. And a lot of footballers such as Iniesta, who used to wear the Obra, has actually switched to the Opus because he does prefer that low cut option.
So let's get into how the boots actually feel in terms of comfort and performance when laced up on your feet. Now the Opus 2 is a comfortable boot, and I think it's probably the biggest positive about the boot itself. Now don't get me wrong, it's not going to be as comfortable as what you'll find on the Opus 2 because it doesn't have that Flyknit sock-like material, and also the collar does do a nice job of providing a sock-like fit and nice compression feel, but it is still comfortable. It's not as soft as the Obra, but don't worry, there's still a comfortable boot and you won't find any problems over your 90 minutes of matches. Now into performance, and it does obviously have those dotted applications across the upper, and you can slightly feel it when striking and touching the ball. It does give a slightly cushion and dampen effect, but overall performance, it isn't going to perform something like the Mercurial Superfly, the High Venom Phantom 2, or the Magista Opus. So if you are wanting that highly responsive and a boot that gives you lots of touch and feel on the ball, then definitely go for the more premium dynamic fit options, but the performance is still pretty solid from the Nike Magista Opus 2.
So what is the sole plate on the new Magista Opus 2? Virtually the same as the Obra 2, sort of a glass nylon design, pretty much the same design as what you saw on the first generation Magista boots. And as you can see it here, it's got that rotational traction system, really designed to pivot in turns, designed for those central midfielders such as Javier Mascherano, Sergio Busquets, players that do a lot of passing in their 90 minutes of football. And the stud design is sort of teardropped, so they're sort of like what you saw in the X16 Plus Pure Chaos by Adidas, sort of teardrop. They're not quite conical, so it's sort of designed for acceleration and turning and pivoting in one. So what are the features on the Obra and on the Opus? On the Obra 2, the much more premium boot. It's got a Flyknit upper, dynamic fit collar, Brio cables, Nike Skin upper, and on the sole plate we've got that glass nylon system with that rotational traction system there. And on the Opus we've got Kangalite upper, ACC, so that no-tongue design, and an off-center lacing system. Both got the same off-center lacing system, that same sole plate, exact same sole plates. Overall, the major difference is that low-cut option of the collar here and the upper quality. So in terms of design and colorway, we've seen 3 colorways for the Magista 2 design so far. This is the launch design, and obviously this is the brightest and most modern design of the 3. Volt yellow, pink, orange, turquoise, black, very, very bright modern colorway. You got those additional colorways of pitch dark, pretty much black and a bit of orange, is it, Matty?
Yeah, that's right, a bit of black and orange in there.
And the Elite Pack version is pretty much grey with a bit of green and blue. Do you like this design colorway, Matt?
I mean, the colorway is not for me at all. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I do like a bit of Volt. I've obviously got the High Venom Finish boots at the moment, and they are all Volt with a bit of black. Now, I don't mind that, but what Nike have gone for on the launch of the new Magista 2 ranges are they've got Volt, they've got Pink Blast, they've got Total Orange, Hyper Turquoise. For me, it's just too many colours going on, and to be honest, I can't imagine a player walking into a sports shop or online, looking at these boots on the shelf and being, yeah, do you know what, I quite fancy these. They're not for me. Obviously, you can get the Pitch Dark pack, which are much more classic, and a pair of boots that I'd probably go for. The Elite pack, it's a little bit pure platinum and silver, again quite flash, but much more subtle than what you found on these Lance Magista boots. So guys, that is our full review of the Magista Opus 2. Now there's no doubt that it's a comfortable boot, that's for sure, but in terms of the premium materials, it's not going to be the same as what you'll find on the Obra 2. It is still a very comfortable boot, as I say, and it is still quite innovative, but if you are looking for that premium high quality boot, then the Obra 2 is going to be the boot to go for at the Magista range. Blake, what do you think?
Well, I think the Opus 2 is a great boot for anyone that just loves that low-cut design. You've always got that low-cut option by Nike Football. You see it on the Mercurial range with the Vapor, and on the Tiempo Legend 6 as well, and on the High Venom range with the Finish. You've got the low-cut Opus as well. That's the best part about this boot, the low-cut option. So I think the perfect Magista boot would be a combination between the 2 boots, the Obra and the Opus. So essentially, I pretty much would cut the collar off the Obra 2, and essentially that is what I feel would be the best Magista boot by Nike Football. But you don't have that option by Nike. Personally, I would go for the Opus 2. What would you go for, Matty?
Well, I mean, for me, the Opus 2 is just a little bit too cheap feeling for me. I do like that very premium material Osler Flyknit like on the Obra 2, so I would go for the Obra in this instance. It does have the collar, which I'm not a massive, like, I don't dislike it, but I mean, especially on the Obra 2, it does feel quite thick compared to the other dynamic fit boots. So if you could get the Obra 2 with the dynamic fit collar, then that would be the perfect boot for me. But overall, I still would go for the Obra 2 just because it feels a little bit more premium compared to the Opus 2.
So which boot would you go for? The Opus 2 or the Obra 2? Please vote in our poll card now with which boot you would choose. That's all we have today with the Opus 2 review. Thank you very much for watching, and as always,
we'll see you next time.